needs some money. He 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 needs some money. Hey,
Is that a tiger?
I'm Chanel J. Wilson. I'm an author, artist, singer-songwriter, and this is going to be a Netflix review of Tiger King.
Is that a tiger?
I'm doing a collab today with Winston Edwards. He has his own channel called Yah City Tech. It's a Christian podcast where he goes over Bible scriptures. Sometimes he just has the Bible scriptures playing, or if you want to take a look at it and listen to some really cool music while you read. And then he has praise God. And then he has a news podcast on that channel as well called 10 and the 2. We actually just did one on the quarantine and just some things we thought that were really interesting. So check that out on his website as well. I'll post a link of the actual channel. So please comment, subscribe, like if you're into that type of thing. Today we are going to talk about Tiger King. We were able to watch it, and the plan was we were just going to watch one episode and all go to sleep. And we ended up staying up all night and watched all 7 episodes.
7? Oh, 7.
Because it was really, really it's one of those kind of things where
gotta see what's next. What's about to happen next?
What's about to happen next? It's like things would happen to the point where you would think, okay, it's not gonna get any weirder than this, and it just takes you over the cliff. Like
it got exhausting after a minute. It's like, wow, this is just so much madness.
Yeah.
This is just madness overload. Florida.
Some in that Florida water. I'm thinking about in Atlanta when we talk about Florida man. What makes so Tiger King? Okay, I'm trying to see how we want to do this because this is going to be a review and there will be spoilers in it. And we're not trying to give you a book report. We're trying to give you the gist of our experience watching it. So you know what to go look for if you haven't watched it, or even just maybe you did watch it and you just want to recap with somebody to make sure you saw what you saw.
Jimi Hendrix put out an album called "Have You Ever Been Experienced," and this is a "Have You Ever Been Experienced" with Tiger King. It's like
Tiger King.
Have you ever experienced this roller coaster? It's just madness. It's really far out, and at first you think, oh, okay, this is gonna be a quaint little thing about people saving cats, and man, nah, that's only a part of it.
It's like when you first put it on, you're like, where is this going? Mm-hmm. And you feel like you're watching a circus because you got Joe Streetvogel. He goes by Streetvogel Maldonado Passage or Joe Exotica. That's his name.
Joe Exotic.
That's right. It. And then, this is the key players. Then you have Carole Baskin, who owns Big Cat Rescue, and her whole story is another craziness.
And you have two young guys that do Joe Exotic picks up at young ages.
And what was the other guy's name? Jason or something?
I can't remember. There's the one with the kind of the teeth problem.
Yeah.
And then the other one with the big hands.
Yeah, the hands. So teeth and hands. Yeah. He married them. They were his husbands, but then you find out later that they weren't even gay.
Oh, yeah. So, Joe Exotic is homosexual.
He's yeah. And he calls himself a redneck. It was like every moment you watch the movie, it was so many different layers of who this guy was, the main character was, and then also the other key players around him. And so they opened up this tiger zoo, a petting zoo.
If you want to go back, how Joe Exotic got even into cats was
that's right.
He was frustrated about being a homosexual or whatever. He drove off a bridge.
That's
something,
right, and broke his back.
Survived, ended up in the hospital, and someone brought him I don't know if it was a baby tiger,
like a baby cat or a baby tiger,
and that was it. That's what started it.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, that was the beginning of the Tiger King.
The Tiger King. And so he opened up the zoo in memory of his brother. His brother was actually killed by a drunk driver. So that's where they got the name GW Zoo from in Oklahoma. And so what he would do is that he would hire people who either just got out of jail, people who were on parole, and just needed a job. And so they would get room and board, and I think they get paid maybe $150 a week. And they would basically take care of these tigers. Now, you know, I am not familiar with the tiger world. And so when you're watching it and you're hearing these stories about that, they have a petting section where you can pet the tigers. And then when tigers get older, they have like a zoo. There's a whole big, I guess, conversation about how petting
should people be allowed to run these kind of self-made zoos?
That's what it's not like, you know, going to like, you know, Nolan Park Zoo in Oakland or San Diego Zoo.
This is amateur zoos.
Literally, like at one point,
homemade zoos.
I was watching, was it Carole's Big Cat Zoo? And I was like, is that chicken wire she's got up protecting her? Like some of the cages on all of the little zoos they were showing were, in my opinion, they felt a little flimsy. Now, you know, someone like me, I don't think petting a baby tiger is adorable. The first thing I'm thinking is, does it have his teeth? Because that little thing is going to kill me. Yeah, it's cute. I can look at a picture of it, but automatically I don't want my baby near it. I even, you know, after watching this, I went and looked at, you know, different cases and stories about it. And the rule is, okay, so what they're saying is that you get the little tiger and you take them from their mom as soon as they're born. And right there, that creates some kind of separation anxiety with the tiger and with the mom, because the mom is looking to nurse and take care of the baby, and then the baby is basically crying out for his mom. So then the adults have to care for the tiger because that tiger now has to get acclimated to being around humans. And then when you put them in the petting environment, one person described it as, imagine taking a newborn baby and bringing that baby around other people to pet on it and talk to it. That baby just wants to sleep. So that's what these tiger cubs are going through while they're going through the petting experience. And so I guess they were really popular and there wasn't that much regulation on it. And it's not the funny part. The sad part is that Carole Baskin in the movie was saying that all these zoos are wrong, they shouldn't be doing that. But then when you hear her story, that's kind of how she started off on it too. She would take these young bobcats and lynx and stuff from their mom and have them as house pets. That's what her and her former husband, who disappeared, used to do. So it was kind of like a contradiction. She claims that she's changed.
She would be doing the same dirt, and then as far as these big cats, and then but everyone else shouldn't be allowed to do it. Basically, right. Those guys are the bad guys, and I'm the only one doing it the right way. So. It was really. She's a very unlikable person. Yeah. Very. Something ain't right about her. She's got the Hillary Clinton vibe, pretty much. Very. I will give you that. Something ain't right. She tries to come off as, you know, you can. I'm a savior. You can believe me. Yeah, I'm really in it for these cats. And it's just like, because then you find out in the story that she's got all these volunteers, but she doesn't pay them anything. you just get a shirt. Someone called it a cult. It's like a little cat. It's like a little cat cult. Yeah. And, you know, I'm all down for saving animals, saving the whale, saving, you know, humanity and that kind of thing. But just watching this whole presentation of Tiger King and this whole world... Man, it's... In the end, there was a guy who said, you know, at the end of this wild series, he said, everyone's pretty much lost what the whole thing was supposed to be about, which is preservation of the tigers to begin with. You know? Because the statistics show that there are less than 4,000 wild tigers in the wild. So we have more domesticated tigers, and technically they're not domesticated because they're still a wild animal. But we have more domesticated tigers in it's captivity when you think about some of these zoos, than in the wild. And what one of the guys was saying, what's the purpose of having them if we're just going to take the babies? They're not going to be able to have the whole experience. And breeding and all of that. Yeah. Like there was one of the workers were saying, basically once the pet is at like beyond 12 weeks, you can't put them in petting anymore, so then they just become a liability. So while they're babies, they're worth a lot of money, right? Like they're worth, he was saying at one point, one's worth $3,000, one's worth $5,000, depending on the type of breed. And that's another thing we learned about the different types of breeds of tigers, and even some of the hybrids that they make that aren't really
safe, like the ligers and the tigons.
Right.
And but with this Tiger King, okay, so let's look at it in several parts. We'll first look at the weirdness of the story. Then we'll look at the details. So the weirdness of the story is you've got these characters, and you know, we all have our own proclivities. We all have these weird characters. We all have these weird moments.
There's the other. Basically, there's Carole.
There's Carole.
There's Joe Exotic, and then there's the guy with the harem.
Bhagavan Doc Antle or something like that.
Yeah,
is that his name?
He's a real interesting dude.
Right when he came out, I was like, "Who is this dude? Who is this dude?"
He catches his runaway chicks and raises them and marries them.
Like 6 wives.
And, more power to that cat, man.
One guy was like, "I don't want to know how to train these tigers. I don't know how you train these women." And that's not really cool. That's literally pimping when you think about it.
Pimps cats and women.
God, that is off. Wow.
Well, he doesn't necessarily. They're not hoeing or nothing. They're just, I don't know.
The way he said it was everybody's free to go when they want. But I watched it for a second time with my mom. My mom said they're basically in a situation where they have nowhere to go if they leave. Like, they're going to lose their family, especially if they've been there for years.
Yeah, since like 17, 18.
Yeah, they're not going to want to go anywhere because they don't know any.
That's their security.
That's their security. That's their life. So,
the dude knows that. So
and he does. He's yeah.
Uncool. He's very uncool.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking about when that one girl they interviewed who left, and she said the first thing her dad said to her when she moved up there was, "Don't sleep with your boss. Don't fall into it." And, you know, there's people like that in life where you get like that little warning, like, you know, watch out for this guy. He's got a... It's so much more than manipulation. It's a cunning kind of... They study you.
Trying to figure out your needs and your desires in life. And,
and you know, he had this really cool like looking pad. I think people paid like $300 and $600 just to go and see these animals. And then the way he explained it was he brought out a liger. And I had never heard about these kind of animals before. And he said, this is actually a very controversial animal. And the reason why they're controversial is because for a liger, they take a male lion and a female tiger, and they make a liger animal. So
does it have to be that way, or could it go the other way?
The other way around, if it's a male tiger and a female lion, it's called a tigon. and the reason why they do that is because with the ligers, the ligers grow exponentially because their chromosomes and everything inside of their bodies are not matching up. Okay. So some of them are born infertile.
It's basically a mutation.
It's like a mutation.
Right.
And so they just grow like crazy. Like, there was one online, they showed the thing was like the animal, he's a living creature. So this living creature was like 900 pounds or something crazy like that. One was saying that they don't develop as well, though, because of everything that's going on. And most of them die from, you know, like heart attacks or different little things because of what's going on. And then with the tigons, what they said was because of the way that breed works, they don't grow big. They have like lower weights because of the way their chromosomes link or something like that. It was all very interesting. Like I said, this was you know, everyone has their thing. You know, we're musicians, so our thing is we like to go online and look at gear and music and, you know, instruments and watch bands and see what setups are. Other people may like tennis shoes and, you know, look at the latest thing.
So also we have, so just like there's Carole, there's Joe, there's the guy with the harem, and then there was the guy who inherited money. I think his dad like ran a circus or something.
Oh, James.
Yeah.
And this dude, oh my God. These are just some bad... I don't even know what word to call these men. Like, so with James, this character...
Florida.
It's something in the water.
It's not... My dad lives down there. I went down there and... It's just got a vibe. I don't know what it is. It's just a bit off the chain.
Yeah. Ain't nobody tripping. Ain't nobody care. You know.
I can't say. Everybody knows when you hear Florida man and woman before they get into the story, it's about to be off the hook.
It's supposed to be a story.
Yeah. So, but it was definitely a lot of dysfunction, a lot of I guess what you call redneckism. or whatever.
Just we live in the backwoods.
But the
goes.
saddest part to me is the fact that there was a man that went missing.
Yeah.
And they just dropped the ball on it, said there ain't nothing we can do about it. And this broad got all his money and then
took it from the kids.
daughters that the man had
they only got like 10% of his money. And then all the property he owned, they got the bad property. They didn't get the stuff that I guess appreciated in value.
And this man disappeared.
He just disappeared.
Joe Exotic. But check this out. That woman straight kept pushing buttons on him.
Yeah, and that's the cold part with the whole situation. Yeah. Like, the issue with Carole Baskin is that she started off doing the same thing that she's accusing everybody of doing. Mm-hmm. And here's my issue. I feel like she did that to switch it so she can keep her cat farm or her cat rescue. I feel like she probably does still have some interest in
you feel like she did what?
I feel like she joined the other. Well, that too, but that's allegedly. But yeah. I feel like she joined the other side of everything to keep her farm because people were coming after her for the same issues. And so sometimes, they say it's like, better you can't beat them, join them kind of thing.
Well, no, I think she was like that from the beginning. Because the idea was, if I can get everybody else out the way and I'm the only one, then that's just more for me. Then I'm getting all the money. Yeah, I'm getting money from having this little sanctuary. If I can somehow get everybody to shut everybody else down. But make it look like I'm the only one legit. Yeah. So her competition's gone.
Yeah, then her competition's gone.
Yeah.
What gets me about, her whole story, I think there was one scene where Joe goes into his tiger cage to like shoot something because he had an internet little show, he had a YouTube channel, then they were trying to start like this reality show for him. He gets in the middle of the tiger cage. And one of his tigers is just like gnawing on him, smelling him, and wants to. First, it looks like he wants to play, but then all of a sudden,
he sniffs the shoe, and then there's something on the shoe
that's making him go ham on him, and he literally yanks him up with just a quick pull and drags this man across the field, and he has to pull his gun out to scare him to get him to let go. And so he said, somebody came in here and put some meat or something in my shoes to make these tires sniff me like this. And Carole said, well, if I wanted to feed somebody to a tiger by doing that, I would put sardine oil. Right. And I said, when she said that, I just went, wow. And we just had an episode of what happened to your husband. Like, the rumor that Joe kept saying there were rumors that when they were going through their issue, there's a possibility that she had something to do with his disappearance or even death. And maybe, you got a whole lot of tigers available, so.
The husband became lunch.
Literally. Like, this whole.
Or he got through in a septic tank. They had a septic tank somewhere on the property that was another option that Joe.
He said that he got dropped in a septic tank. It was
but this broad was.
It was something about her.
She was so cutthroat, and so, I almost can see why Joe had to go hard in on her. Yeah. Because maybe at first it was like tit for tat, but I think once he got in on her, she said, "Oh, okay, this is fun to me." Yeah, she looks like the kind of broad to where she likes that kind of thing.
She likes that attention. Plenty of money,
and she's like, "Let me see how I can destroy this person's life. I got the money, I'm good, and destroying this man could be like a hobby for me."
Yeah,
or whatever.
And that's kind of, it's like every time you're trying to have sympathy for one character, then the other character, something happens, and you're flipped because on that first episode, you don't know who to go for, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, because everybody got something jumping off.
And by the end, you're like, everybody's a demon.
Like, everybody, it's like, well, all y'all just messed up. Dang, like,
except the dude who had lost his legs.
He was cool. I liked him. Yeah.
The girl that lost her arm.
She was hella cool.
Man, she was just
like, she said all these.
Go get her. She lost her arm and then came right back
to work. She was like, I'm back at work. I like my job. I do. But she said something at the end. She said all this bickering and fighting, all the millions of dollars that got put out in the lawsuits, none of it went to the Tigers. So who lost? The Tigers. Tigers.
She said everybody lost.
Everybody lost. And it was just like, when you put that part into the perspective, and even when the one guy who lost his legs, because they were getting the trial together, because basically all the lawsuits snowballed into where it turned into a copyright lawsuit first. Then...
He put a hit out on her. Are you talking about
supposedly there was a hit.
Well,
the way they're saying it is he put the hit out. But there's so many conspiring stories around that. We don't know who was responsible for putting the cash in the hands and actually saying they're going to do this.
That's another character we got to mention is Chucky.
Chucky,
really heavyweight dude
with the red hair.
and there's one part where he's on a ski dude looking all tough. And
he's just like, oh God, like
and that's funny because this thing goes on for like 4 years.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, how did Netflix? I think at first it was like a cat documentary thing.
Yeah,
that's what Carole Baskin.
That's what Carole thought this was going to be.
I read something where when it first came at her, Netflix came at her like, we want to document this whole the plight of the big cat.
Yeah,
pretty much we want to do a plight of the big cat series. And then I think on the under they were like, we got
we got a story here. Like, what the hell?
A good one.
Yeah,
we got some dysfunctional.
Yeah, This was, unfortunately, we are now a society. Documentaries have always been going on, but now we are a society that capitalizes on reality TV, even though some of that is scripted too. But
a lot of a lot of it was a real world.
It was a real world experience. That's what makes it so boggling is that this was not a scripted. Even as you're watching, I had to remind myself this is a documentary.
Can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, like this is a documentary. This is not like some SNL. Made for a movie, kind of, Reno 911, Fargo.
Did you see something where they were talking about making the movie?
Yeah, they're supposed to get McKinnon. What's her name? The girl from SNL
to play Baskin.
Yeah, to play Baskin. And then there's a couple of other people. I think Dak Shepard wants to play Joe Exotic, and he even mentioned he wanted Channing Tatum to be one of the guys. And people are just calling out who they think should play this person and that person. I wonder how that presentation would look because the documentary is so enthralling and so entertaining that will it do it justice?
That's another aspect that everybody is almost like their own type of predator.
Yeah,
everyone is using somebody.
Yeah, literally.
And, the Carole with her husband.
Yeah.
Joe Exotic with the tigers, because very much Joe Exotic is like he's very center of the room kind of guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's actually a likable dude.
He has the cold part. He does music. He has what was it? Here, kitty, that one, and and then also what was cool about I say cool, but this would. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, and then the guy who came in acting like he wanted to save the zoo. What was his name?
That dude, James.
So acting like he wanted to save the zoo.
Dude. Oh,
but really,
man.
he had some
he had his own thing he was trying to pull off. Yeah,
everybody cutthroat in this thing, man.
Like the whole. All online on Facebook, all people would post is, y'all got to go online and watch Netflix right now. We at home. Go watch Tiger King.
Kind of like with Bird Box. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was just like Bird Box. Yeah, like I just finished Bird Box. Y'all got to go see that. And it's one of those kind of things where it's an experience, it's an encounter because there's so many layers to these humans. I keep saying characters, but reality is a documentary. It's not a movie. And they're like Bird Box is one of those movies where you're like, oh my God, that was a trip. That was intense. You're sitting on the edge of your seat the whole time, like.
And this is the same deal, but there's real people.
But these are real people. Like, the whole time you're just like, this stuff really happened. Like, this is really like one of the parts that really got me was that when they were explaining how once the baby tigers age out, the tigers are now a liability. It costs, what did they say, $60,000 a month to feed the animals?
Oh yeah.
Just to feed them.
You gotta get like cows,
bears, horses, any kind of meat.
And then there's that one part where Joe, I don't know if it was Joe, but they had a truck bed full of
Walmart food. Was that one? Yeah.
The thrown out Walmart hot dogs and stuff like that.
And they were they let the people who worked there eat off of that food first, and then they fed the rest of the tigers.
Oh, I missed that part. The people that worked there. Yeah,
because they were only making like $150 a week, so they were short on food, and so they would get some of the expired meat. Now, I'm not saying the meat was like hecka expired to the point where it's molded, but stores can only sell food for up to a certain amount. Yeah, there are some shelters and rescue places where they'll go get the eggs, the bread. That even though there's an expiration date, you can eat it.
Good.
You can eat it
Those
5 to 6.
Are kind of.
That's their safe zone expiration date for selling it, but you can still eat it 6 to 10 days past the expiration date, depending on what it is. Yeah. So it wasn't like they were getting old spoiled food; they were just getting expiration date type food, and it would be like quality. Like one guy was like, "This stuff is still frozen. This is quality food. We'll be fine." So that was really interesting just to see how people live, how people are surviving, what people are doing to function, to make a living.
But it's not so much a how-to on how to have your own tiger zoo.
Oh God, this
is not how you do it.
No.
At the one point, where at one point in the thing, something gets caught on fire. The studio.
Oh my Lord! Yes.
Because Joe Exotic he was doing a TV show.
With the what's his name? Ramku? Not Ranky. It was the other guy.
The producer was another guy. He was one of the guys that didn't seem so cutthroatish.
Yeah, he actually was kind of cool. Yeah. And I think he actually was in Joe's favor, but I think because Joe was going through so much during that time, he just got paranoid about everybody. Yeah. And I guess they had an argument or disagreement on something, and he was saying, Joe, you do realize that he owned it. I own all this footage. And that's customary. When someone's filming a documentary, you have to own your footage or you'll get screwed in the end when you're about to put this stuff together after you've spent 6 months to a year or 2 years filming footage and then somebody else owns it talking about you can't use it. That screws you. So in your contracts, the filmmaker owns both the reality TV show footage as well as the internet footage because he filmed it. And what Joe's biggest issue was, he was thinking along the lines of, there's stuff in this footage that can get me in trouble, that can put me in jail, that can get me indicted, and I don't want you trying to use it. Even though that guy wasn't even coming for him from that place, his whole position was, I want to retire from this footage. I want to be able to put this reality show together, shop it to one of the stations like was it Animal Planet,
something like that,
Discovery Channel, the Learning Channel, and make money off of it. And he even said there was a contract. They had a contract that they were about to sign a deal on, and he said that money would have gave Joe what he needed to pay off Carole.
Yeah.
But then all this stuff started happening, and they lost it.
Joe goes off to a funeral. And the place goes up in flames,
killing 4 alligators,
killing some alligators, and then afterwards, Joe was like, "What kind of bastard would do this kind of thing? You killed some live tigers, and said studio, who would do this? Carole Baskin, if you did this, if I see you over here, I'm gonna put a bullet in your head, stuff like that." Yeah. And that kind of snowballed into more turned out, I don't know if it was ever official, but it turned out kind of looks like Joe did it.
People believe he did it. And that's he always, when he finally did go to jail, the lady said he's the kind of guy that'll keep talking even if he's wrong. And I was feeling bad for him at that point because I was like, I'm not saying that he was innocent, because he did admit to euthanizing 5 tigers because they just couldn't feed them. Well, he said that they were sick, and you either give them some kind of medicine to make them die, or you shoot them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, but the way they got him was they couldn't the hit. They got him from the hit, from the supposed alleged hit, and also the what was it? Euthanizing the cats and all those big cat act rights and stuff like that. They can't because they said he didn't follow the rules, so to speak. And what a lot of people were saying, everybody does this, so Joe shouldn't be the only one in jail for this. And that's kind of the feeling you have when the movie ends. You're just kind of like, okay, we got one guy who in my opinion, I feel like he didn't do the bulk of the dirt, but at the same time he did. It's one of those really weird.
He got thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
you know
like it's just kind of like
because they all do that.
They all do it.
The other guy with the harem, he was
doing it. Yeah,
I guess like supposed to be part of the business.
Yeah, like
cats get too old or something,
and you can't feed them.
Take them out back.
Take them off back and do what you gotta do and bury it. Yeah,
which is not right at all.
Which is not right. It's like damn, you know.
Joe wasn't the only one.
Yeah, yeah.
And then putting the money on the girl's head, she was so. You know, you can only take so much from somebody. Yeah, but
she took his mother's house.
You what the hell? The mom.
This woman.
When you start messing with my mama.
This woman.
Messing with my mama, you gotta go.
So the way the lawsuit happened was, someone took a picture at her place where I guess her employees were holding up rabbits to feed to the the tigers, and I guess that was that they were happy they got to feed their tigers these rabbits. It's like a prize thing. Just imagining that they're holding dead rabbits is already making me triggered already, because that's just like damn,
and being psyched at their particular cat.
Yeah, like is this normal? Like this is really normal. Like
it's some cold
stuff. So Joe took that and started putting that on Facebook, and what Joe explained is that Carole went and paid, is allegedly, I'm saying allegedly because we don't know what happened. What Joe says is that she went and paid someone like $5 for that picture, then went and copywrote that picture, and that's how she was able to legally fight him, and she ended up winning. And so he couldn't pay her.
Can you imagine somebody that has that kind of time to actually go through all that? I mean, can you imagine the level of hate this woman actually has in her soul? I don't care how much money you have. To spend that much time to actually do all that. Yeah, there's something ain't quite right in your head.
There are you get
all that money. She could have been doing something else.
Yeah, that money. It's like that lady said. It could have went to the tigers.
Her whole cause in her life is for not human beings. Mm-hmm. You know, it'd be interesting to see if she's ever given money to anything that has to do with humans. Yeah. Any kind of human cause for mankind or whatever. But I'm not saying tigers are expendable or nothing, but the chick some stuff. She's a hateful woman. But she loves. And
I notice that a lot about people who are into animal rights, but then when it comes to, and I'm not saying, look, we're all living creatures. I get that. I'm not knocking any of that. I look at human dignity, human life, humanism, and all of that. But I always do look at the characters of some people who will fight for the rights of, like, a dog. But then when it comes to certain human rights, and you see, young babies who don't have food to eat, or, a lot of people talk about, like, Black Lives Matter, some of those kind of aspects, and they'll say, but you can't see how this young kid who got killed in the streets is a living creature who needed to live, but you're gonna fight for that dog, but you're not even gonna look at this human, this human child or human grown man. It's a very skewed.
There are a lot of people that look at humanity as the cancer of the earth.
Wow.
But what they don't understand is that you take mankind out.
What's gonna happen? Everybody else gonna be fine.
I think all those species would probably extinct. I don't know how that would work.
I think our Earth would continue if humans cease to exist. It may even heal itself in some aspects. I mean, when you think about our existence here on Earth, it's almost like some things were
all humans disappearing, and then there's just animals. I guess it would just kind of just go along, this thing eats that thing. Yeah. And these two copulate and have babies. I guess it would just roll on with no problem if humans weren't on Earth, I guess.
Yeah. It puts some things in perspective of how... We're
not the cancer.
I don't think we're the cancer or the plague of this world. I think we all have a purpose for being on this Earth. Right. When I think of the fact...
to bring God into it, God created man and gave us all these animals and plants to basically be caregivers of.
Yeah,
we're supposed to be caregivers.
We're supposed to be caregivers.
And that's when I can respect somebody that has some kind of
that has a heart for animal rights, right? And is really fight. Like, I respect the people who are really fighting for it and not undermining society. Yeah,
it's when the rights of an animal override the rights of a human being that's when it gets kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. This, after watching it, and I had to watch it twice because there's some stuff I missed. Watching it that first run.
R.I.P. to the I can't remember his name, but the guy with the big hands who ended up actually.
Oh yeah, rest in peace. That part. Oh god, that hit me. I wasn't expecting that part at all. Yeah. And that he was young too. Like he came in at 19,
impressionable,
and just
probably just didn't. There are a lot of youngsters that don't have a place to go, and when somebody sees that need, they jump on it, and they come in like your saviors, but really their MO is not for your best interest.
Yeah, Travis, that was his name, Travis. Rest in peace to Travis. That hit me like a ton of bricks when I saw that part of the movie, and how his life, he got there and everything that happened, and then how it ended. It was just like, damn, I wish he would have
got away out of
there. Had some semblance of.
Because Joe, just like I mentioned, everyone has some kind of predatory issues.
Right.
And Joe would like to get these young
guys.
Fact, after dude died, like 2 months later, he had another young one.
Another young one. And I was like, can you just be single for a while? Like, can you just rest and deal with you for a minute?
There's one part where you see Joe on the bed and just some shorts. You're like,
yeah, it's like, oh, God, dude, come on.
You can't unsee that.
It's like, I've seen you in every element of your body. I didn't want to see all that, man. Like, I don't want to know you like that. I'm grateful that we're learning about your story, but come on. The overall with me, when I really just sat down and thought about the experience, because after you watch it, you have to kind of sit down for an hour and process, what did I just watch? What did I just experience? Because it's like I said, we all have varying levels and different worlds that we all live in. So to be exposed to a different type of world, a different type of life, they're still human beings. They still, everyone has the right to pursue, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, be alive, and all of that. And it's like, what do we take from the Tiger King experience?
Right, like so some people, Tiger King is like that. That's their bread and butter. They love that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And some of the people, when they watch that, it actually kind of traumatizes them. They're like, what? They lose faith in humanity when you see stuff like that. Like, what I got from Tiger King, I think, is, mankind is effed. We are effed up people that can really be cruel to each other, let alone animals. Yeah. And we can really lose sight easily of while we're here on the earth.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Especially when money comes involved.
Especially, yeah. What I began to ponder was, it made me think about America and how we are such a capitalistic society and how we put a price to everything. And I'm gonna just go there. When I was looking at how they were taking the little tigers from the moms, I juxtaposed some of that behavior to slavery. I did. I thought about that immediately. Wow. I thought about, because I still wrestle with, how this country was founded, what slavery was like for, us as, our ancestors as humans. And I always kind of say, like, how can we do this? How can we do that to people? And then to watch just some of the behaviors with, with the zoo animals. And I'm not calling us animals. Please don't juxtapose that statement. I'm just looking at, we can put a price to so much and then lose sense of other rights, other people's humanity. And we just do what the hell we want to do for that almighty dollar.
I'm just going to take this little kid that just got born.
This is 3,000, this is 5,000.
That's a messed up scenario.
It's dang, at what point do we deal with that part of ourselves from our Americanness? I think about that so much.
I'm just gonna say it. We need Jesus. We need Jesus to come on back. Yeah, because that's the only reset. That's the only. A lot of people think that utopia is possible, but it's not, because mankind is cruel to each other.
We're very cruel to each other.
And it doesn't get better from here. You know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's just take a look at it if you ever get a moment. You know, watch Tiger King. Get ready for the experience. Process afterwards because it's a lot to take in. Because every time you think you've settled into the ride of the movie and just another shoe drops and you're like just...
That's another thing I'm noticing. People are calling it a movie. And that's really what it is. It's just like, you're just like, what's going to happen next? Like, what's going to happen next?
It's unbelievable. It's not something
Crazy. I got exhausted by 6. I was like, we got to watch the rest.
In the morning,
tomorrow. But no, we kept going.
We kept going because it was just like, we got to know what happens in the end. And when you get to the end and you're like,
I hate her. I want her to die.
I
feel good for him now, but then like a couple minutes like dirtbag.
You're messed up. Like, dude. For me, I just want justice. Like if you did do
what happened to the husband?
What happened to the husband?
How do we just drop that? Like
that bothered me. Like I was like, justice needs to be served for that. Like, are you kidding me? And you know, I'm not gonna talk about it in this subject, but that really spoke volume to how, you know, how she got away. I can't say how she got away with it because we don't know if she did it or not. But I can say, suspect number 1. Where did they drop the ball in the investigation? Yeah. That's where I'm like, what the heck, man? I just can't believe that. I can't. It's just.
So the overall in the end, Joe gets 22.
Yeah, 22 years in prison and
22,
man. Just take a look at it. Come back, like, comment, subscribe, and you know, and talk about what you experienced.
Free my man Joe.
I know, they were like, free Joe, free Joe. We did do that at the end, didn't we? We did do that. It's like, oh, like, because somebody in the video said it. They said, how is it Joe's in here, but so-and-so ain't in here either. Cats, yeah. And so-and-so need to be here too. And so-and-so. And I was like, this is America.
And the Chucky, that's what I'm calling Chucky. I don't remember his name. He was like, I think there's going to be some more people
getting wrapped up. Yeah.
And I'm like, you want them.
Yeah, because at the end, Joe basically let it all out. Even though he was in jail, he had his boo thing, his husband.
Boo thing.
He had him go get some files. And all those files had more information. Right. And then James, the guy he hooked up with to build the other zoo, they had a falling out. Yeah. So that guy called Joe. So now I guess most stuff's about to drop. So they might have a season 2 on this. This ain't over. We're going to get a season 2, I think. I'm just, wow. I can't believe I watched this. I can't believe it happened. My heart goes out to all the people involved. My heart goes out to the people, the tigers, the victims, the people. My heart goes out. I really thought about it. After I watched this, I thought about everybody. I thought about everybody in there but Carole. Every time I saw Carole, I'd be like, this woman. And I say that only because, you know, in the beginning, I really wanted to like her until it snowballed into all the details of her story. And it was like, I can't believe you did that to him. To you know, his mom. When
you went after the mom, I was like,
that hit. I was like, how you gonna take that? Like, isn't that serious? Wow, that's deep. So you know, my heart goes out. My heart really goes out to everybody involved. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's definitely an experience that everybody should just watch. We need perspective.
This is America.
Yeah, literally, we need perspective on who we are as humanity. Every time we watch stories like this, it should bring us all back to the water hole at some point to deal with who we are as people. Like you said, we're cruel to each other.
You can get a lesson out of anything.
Yeah. Oh, God.
There's a lesson.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so I'm Chanel J. Wilson.
I'm Winston
Edwards. We'll definitely do some more collabs like this because we're always having conversations off the camera about these things. And we're stuck in the house right now, so why not, you know, talk? Let's connect online. It's the quarantine. I definitely have another Netflix review coming up again on Self-Made, and I'll do that too.
And feel free to check out my Bible studies, Yah City Tech.
That's right. Check out Yah City Tech. That's right. All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So you can